So the son's returning home, but he's not asking to be taken back in as a son. He knew what had to be done. He understood that in his culture, he would never be able to reclaim his place as a father's son. There was actually a ceremony in the Jewish culture for exactly this scenario. If a Jewish son lost his inheritance to the Gentiles, he would face something known as the Kezazra, which means the cutting off. In the ceremony, they would break a clay pot at his feet as a sign of permanent rejection. This is the biggest moment of shock that happens in the story. It's bigger than when the young son wished his father was dead and requested the inheritance, than when the father actually humiliated himself by actually giving it to him. Jesus' listeners would have been expecting the Kezazra, but instead, the father runs, something an honored Jewish patriarch would never do in public. He runs to his son. He hugs him. He kisses him. He wasn't waiting on the couch for him to come so he could ground him or something. The younger son starts to give the speech that he's practiced over and over about begging for forgiveness, but the father ignores him and calls the servants over. He had them bring the best robe and fatted calf. We must celebrate, the father said, for this my son was but dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. In this moment, the word prodigal, which means recklessly spendthrift, can now be used to describe God the Father's grace. God's love is never wasted. It's not wild living, it's wild love.